Joining our broadcast now is Nikolai Malamud, General of the Ukrainian Army and head of Ukraine's Foreign Intelligence Service from 2005 to 2010. Nikolai Grigorovich, welcome to the live broadcast on Freedom TV channel. Glory to Ukraine.
Thank you. Hello. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes.
Nikolai Grigorovich, let's try to sort out what's happening right now on the various fronts. We just told our viewers that the hottest situation is currently in the Pokrovsk direction. How do you assess where our focus should be today when we talk to people living in European countries, those living across the ocean, those in Central Asian countries, and even in the Russian Federation itself, people who are receiving truthful, honest information in Russian? Let's try to tell them what the real situation is at the front, where things are currently the hottest, according to your information.
There is only one truth. The enemy continues trying to seize foreign territories. This is our country, specific lands, specific cities. By killing Ukrainian civilians, by killing our soldiers, we are defending ourselves. And this is recognized by the entire international community and by all international norms. That's why the truth is the same for everyone, for Russians, for our partners, for those who aren't our partners, and for the citizens of Ukraine. We are defending ourselves from a systematic aggressor who will stop at nothing, who kills children every night and every day with fast missiles, or launches offensives at the front. Right now, Putin has set a challenge for the entire world. He has now postponed the peace process until the capture, as he put it, of the Donetsk region. That's why the main strikes are being targeted at this sector. And that's why the Pokrovsk direction is one of the tracks where he's trying to advance by any means necessary. Just in the past few days, for 2 days in a row, he has been trying to push through the Drapatyi direction, moving into positions that are, so to speak, broader for capturing and launching attacks from the south of the Donetsk region. At the same time, of course, he is also trying to push further into the city of Kostiantynivka. He sends in a small assault group, making their way into specific sectors or individual buildings, structures, or basements. They claim that the city has already been captured. Although we've said many times already, our channel and even this very show have become topics of discussion among all those propagandists. Both Soloveyov and others shouted that we were lying. But after that, we showed our troops, even that same scale, how they were clearing the city. So in this situation, we're debunking all these myths about an ongoing capture. We're showing that these are cities with Ukrainian identity, where they're trying to seize them, and most importantly, killing civilians who are still there. And of course, Putin has stalled the peace process, resisting all proposals from American colleagues, the Chinese, who also came forward with a settlement and ceasefire plan, the Europeans, and leaders of third countries who personally appealed to him. Stop the fire, stop the offensive. On the contrary, he pointed out that he would continue to seize more territory, and only then, at some point, would he negotiate for peace. That's why the Pokrovska and Kostiantynivka directions are strategic areas where he is trying to carry out his plans. We aren't letting them, we're fighting them off. Yes, in one of the directions, they advanced by half a kilometer, but they presented it as a major victory, just like they did with Kostiantynivka. But the facts tell a different story. We are holding the defense, we are powerfully clearing out the reserves they are bringing into this region, and he has no prospects for an offensive. That's a fact. And the second component is, of course, they're trying to come in from the north, meaning they're trying to carry out the task of capturing Donetsk region. That means entering Lyman and Slavyansk. And actually, on some days, there are more attacks on Lyman and Slavyansk than even in the Pokrovsk direction. For example, the day before yesterday, and even yesterday, because they believe there's a possible breakthrough towards Slavyansk, an encirclement of Slavyansk. But there are systematic fortifications there, so it's practically impossible to enter the city under our fire. That's why the idea is to surround it and lay siege. So this is already the 20th deadline set for capturing Donetsk region. Now they're saying by the end of the year, but even foreign analysts say they won't succeed. And we say they won't succeed at all because we're already working on new systems. And not just for defending these cities in this sector, but also for asymmetric actions. And not just with drones, robotics, laser systems, or cluster munitions, but with new models of warfare. And the arrival of Geppetto, who has exactly these skills and talents, I think is a very strong signal for them. Everyone there is already really on edge, thinking that now that he's come, they're going to have problems. They even quickly put Torpedo on the wanted list. It's absurd. Here we are defending our country, and they put our commanders who are defending our territories on the wanted list. So, all of this, the way they try to turn everything upside down, so to speak, just doesn't work. Neither their seizures nor their justifications for those seizures. They shout that they're liberating something, that they're freeing land from Ukrainians, from our state, and that our people and our territories need to be liberated by them. And under that pretext, they kill everyone and claim it's righteous. That's the big truth. Terrorists get what they deserve. They have no prospects. And we will hold these strategic directions, and there will be no prospect of capturing Donetsk region. Same as in Huliaipol. This is already the third direction we're talking about, where they've been actively trying to advance. You see, they've already come to a halt. There used to be, so to speak, 40 or even 50 attacks, but now it's 15, 17, a lot fewer. And they failed to reach the strategic resource of encircling Zaporizhia. Yes, we pulled back. From Huliaipol, but we properly set up fortified positions, and that's already a positive outlook. It's impossible to defeat them. By bringing in new troops, I think there will be a new strategy for waging war, so to speak, to neutralize them.
Nikolai Grigorievich, you just touched on the topic of the South and actually anticipated my next question. But together with my colleagues, who are hosting our information marathon, we've noticed lately that the activity of Russian occupiers in the southern directions has significantly decreased. Well, look, even according to this report, which we started our conversation with today, Orikiv, there were 5 attacks. Next, Oleksandrovsk, 3, 1. In Pridniprovsk, there weren't any clashes at all. What could this be related to, according to your information? Is it simply that they don't have enough forces? Or is it finally a sign of our successful attacks, which are cutting off all the occupiers' logistics?
As we've said many times, they're actively trying to cover the South, to hit the railways, all these routes, highways, and movement along other logistical paths. This has limited the supply of the latest types of weapons. They're trying to bring up whatever they still have left. And not just human reserves, but also new weapons to strike Zaporizhia from long range positions. We managed to neutralize this in the current situation. This is one of the topics we discussed many times. Destroying with drones, long range weapons, and missile systems, all, so to speak, the routes where the enemy is sending its resources. And the most effective way to destroy them is at the logistics and preparation stage, when they're not ready for combat conditions. Especially since most of them have never been under fire, haven't participated in combat situations, and no one is preparing them for this situation. And that's exactly where the neutralization happens, and there's a lot of panic. And that's one factor, one format. The second point, Russia can't build up resources there, especially highly experienced combat personnel. We've neutralized their main resources, and now the goal is to capture Donbass, the Donetsk region. There aren't enough resources left for the south, especially since we're clearing them out. And on our side, we're clearing out both the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. So there are enough resources for attacks there, but Putin personally controls things every day, seizing territories. And before, he considered the south important, but now I think even he has accepted that there are no prospects left there. That's why he's trying to concentrate his main forces in the Pokrovsk, Konstantinovka, Kremenna Lyman, and accordingly Slavyansk directions. These are the main resources right now. They don't have another 50 or 60,000 troops to allocate for attacks anywhere else.
Could you please tell us, Nikolai Grigorievich, about the Wildberries warehouses and logistics centers that are being successfully hit by the armed forces of Ukraine? First of all, these warehouses, of course, contain a huge amount of military goods from the Russian Federation that were intended for the front. And in this way, at this moment, the occupiers' logistics are being disrupted. What consequences does this have for the Russian army? And if we can talk about the scale, just how painful is this blow for them?
Well, these warehouses are several tens of thousands of square meters. That's hundreds of thousands of tons of various goods. They try to disguise ammunition depots and army supplies, even tactical weapons, as civilian goods, which are stored in these facilities. Because as a rule, we are now identifying the locations of troops, weapons, and ammunition. That's why they disguise them as logistics facilities or supposedly civilian warehouses. That's it. Strikes of this kind and on this scale can seriously undermine even the Army's position. Ammunition, tactical weapons, clothing, food, these are all things that work against the enemy. So, systematically destroying these warehouses, along with military assets, fuel, and oil refineries, basically neutralizes the enemy troops' combat capability. And we're already feeling the effects of that. By expanding the scale, and we're doing this constantly, not just in the frontline zone, but also with mid range strikes and missiles in the middle zone, and even targeting strategic facilities, including warehouses deep inside Russia itself, we're neutralizing the entire supply chain. And that's already very sensitive for all of Russia's armed forces. That's a shortage. And according to operational data and information from prisoners, they're already feeling it a lack of ammunition, a shortage of supplies, so to speak, of equipment and weapons. There's a really big problem right now with gasoline and oil, and accordingly, even with providing their own soldiers with what they need to conduct aggressive operations.